So I haven't made a video for a while just because Christmas, New Year's, all that kind of stuff. But now I've got a bit of spare time, so I thought I would crack on. It is summer where I am, which is in the southern parts of Australia. And we've had some really crazy weather over the past 3 months. We've had really intense heat. We've had pouring rain. We've had everything in between. Yesterday we had an absolutely insane statewide hailstorm that basically blanketed half the state in ice. And then you consider like a week or two before it was like 45 degrees in the shade or whatever. So I thought all this crazy weather would be good inspiration to talk about this. Like I said, it is summer in Australia, which means at the moment it's quite warm. Right now it's about high 20s, low 30s. And it was all the variations in temperature and all the extreme heat that we get down here that convinced me a few years ago to buy this. And it is, as you can see, a Pith helmet. I love hats. I've got a whole collection of hats. I've got Panamas, Boses, I've got trilbies, flat caps, all that kind of stuff. But I always wanted a Pith helmet, and so I bought this from a local like camping supplies, military surplus kind of store a few years ago, and I have worn it ever since. I only wear this when it's really hot, so when it's like 40-45 degrees and it's absolutely sizzling outside. That is the best time to wear one of these. And it has a number of features which makes it really ideal for hot weather. Before I go into that, a bit of history. So Pith helmets have been around on and off for almost 200 years. They were developed back in the 1840s, 1850s, and they became really popular among Europeans and North Americans when they were traveling in hot, humid, dusty, damp, rainy countries. So places like Africa, places like Southeast Asia, in the tropics in South America where it's really hot, really humid, really wet and soggy. And the reason they wore these is because they are excellent hot weather, humid weather, tropical weather head coverings, headgear. And the reason for that is because of what they are made of. This is a Pith helmet. That means it is made of pith. Pith is it's like the spongy, soft heartwood inside of a plant, basically a tree. So, for example, if you get an orange, for example, or a lemon, and you peel it, and you see the white, stringy, spongy stuff underneath the peel, that's pith. So they would take pith from either the shoulder tree or from the cork tree, and they would strip it and mold it, soak it, get it nice and wet, and they would, it's like paper mache. You would get strips of pith and you would form it over a block or a mold, and you would create this like hard shell, and you glue it in place and everything. And then to give it extra strength and extra rigidity, you cover it in this. This is just ordinary cotton fabric. And so you sew it on and you glue it in place, and that gives the helmet its shape. Now, Pith helmets came in a variety of shapes. There's about 4, 5, maybe 6 different varieties. This is the French Colonial pattern. It's nice and low. It's got 6 vent holes, so 3 on each side. There's also the United States Marine Corps pith helmet, which is a little bigger. It's got more vent holes, and then there is the Vietnamese variation, which is a little smaller, has only 2 vent holes on each side. And then you have the really flashy British pith helmets. So I bought this one because it's relatively small, it's compact, it's simple, it's elegant, and it's not bulky. I mean, you can wear this walking around town when it's really, really hot, and it's very comfortable. It's very light. I mean, this weighs, I think this would struggle to weigh more than a pound soaking wet. It's really light. And so one of the reasons why pith helmets were really popular is because, like I said, they're made of pith or they're made of cork, and they're covered in fabric. So what you can do with these is you can get them soaking wet, and then once they're nice and wet, you can put it on your head, and as you're walking around in the blazing, 45, 115 degree tropical heat, in the Mexican sun, or in Singapore, or Thailand, Vietnam, wherever, as the water evaporates, it cools the helmet, and it keeps you really, really comfortable. I mean, I've worn this in heat wave conditions when it is easily 40 plus outside, and all you have to do is you dunk this thing in water, just like run it under a tap or something for a few minutes, soak the whole thing in water, put it on your head, and it will give you a good 2.5 to 3 hours maybe of evaporative cooling, and it really reduces the temperature. Like, if it feels like 45 degrees outside, underneath this it'll feel like 20 or 25 degrees, so it's a really big temperature difference. And then you have the wind blowing in through the vent holes, and that's even better. And the other great thing is the interior. You have this band, which is adjustable, so you just adjust the strap here, and you have a little netting, and so your head rests in here. It presses against the band so that your head isn't touching the top of the helmet. That way there's space for the air to circulate around, and it wicks away moisture, perspiration, sweat. And so all you have to do is, every now and then, every 2 hours, every 3 hours, just soak it in water, pour a bottle of water over it or something, or dump it in a stream or a river or a lake. Doesn't take long. 1 or 2 minutes is plenty of time. Once it's soaking wet, all you do is take it out, put it on your head again, and walk off. You may notice this one has all kinds of stains on it, like all the discoloration around the edges and stuff like that. That's from all the repeated soakings that I've put this through. And I can say it really does work, and it is really, really comfortable. So, like, if you're traveling somewhere where it's really hot, or if you live in a really hot, dry or humid, soggy environment, like Australia or Southeast Asia or something like that, then a hat like this is really wonderful. Especially if you go like hiking, or if you spend a lot of time outdoors in the countryside. I go up to the country maybe 2-3 times a year to attend like antiques fairs and stuff like that in the summertime. And when it gets really hot, I just bring this along. I keep it, I'll wear it there, and then when I get there, I'll just soak it in water, get the whole thing soaking wet, put it on my head, and just walk around. And it's really wonderful. Anyway, that's the end of this little video. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions about the pith helmet, feel free to ask. So yeah, leave comments, leave ratings, subscribe to my channel, and if you want to know more about the stuff that I'm interested in, stuff that I like to write about or collect, then please check my blog. I will leave a link to that in the description below, and I hope you'll toddle on over and have a look. Thank you very much for watching.